Abbott and Costello Meet Frankenstein that was probably my favorite movie when I was really, really, really young. And the thing about it, why I think it was so influential, is I remember at that time period, my two favorite types of movies in the world were monster movies, and in particular, I guess the Universal monster movies from the 30s and 40s, 30s, and not screwball comedies, but physical comedies.
Here's your bag. Well, we got him.
Like Abbott and Costello, I loved them. All right, every kid I knew at that time loved Abbott and Costello. But Jerry Lewis, Abbott and Costello, Laurel and Hardy, I thought all those guys were great, and those were like my favorite type of movies. I love W.C. Fields too. I was crazy for W.C. Fields, and so when I watched Abbott and Costello Meet Frankenstein, it seemed it bended my mind about the fact that my two favorite genres, even though I didn't know what the word genre meant, all right, could be put into one movie. I didn't know that you could do that. I always thought there's this kind of movie and then there's this kind of movie, and it was like chocolate and peanut butter. All right, hey, you got your comedy in my horror film. Hey, you got your horror film in my comedy. Hey, pretty good. But the fact that I was even, at a little boy at 7 or 8, or maybe even younger, making genre distinctions, not knowing that, because I literally thought, wow, this is the greatest movie ever. My two favorite types of movies in one. When it's scary, it's really scary, and when it's funny, it's really funny. And I guess I've been trying to do that a lot the whole rest of my career.
You're going to take my brain and put it in Junior's body? Yeah. Ha ha! For a minute, I didn't know how you were going to do it.
Yeah, so when I was a little kid, 3, 4, 5, really just starting to watch movies in a real way, my two favorite genres were horror and old classic comedies. So my favorite actors back then were Boris Karloff and Lon Chaney Jr. When I saw Abbott and Costello Meet Frankenstein, I literally thought it was the greatest movie that has ever been made and that ever possibly will be made, because it literally was my two favorite things in the world put together. It was horror and it was comedy. And especially, somebody like Lou Costello, their whole infantile shtick is to relate to the kids, because they're like these imbeciles, all right? Literally infant adults. And so you relate to them. But the thing that I noticed it in Abbott and Costello Meet Frankenstein, but then when they showed Abbott and Costello Meet the Mummy, I realized that there was a theme that they carried on in their Abbott and Costello Meet the Monster movies, was the fact that, yes, there was the comedy stuff, but then when the horror stuff happened and Abbott and Costello weren't in the scene, the horror stuff was played straight.
Master. Yeah.
The monsters never broke character, and the people that they were going to kill never broke character. It was never silly, all right? I think the Wolfman.
Really?
Yeah, well, I take that back. Okay, the Frankenstein monster was my favorite, but like a close second in the Aurora panels of the great monsters of the past. The Wolfman was a very close second. They were my Lennon McCartney. All right. To some degree or another, I even think Abbott and Costello Meet Frankenstein ended up having, to some degree or another, an effect of me as an artist, i.e. the fact that at 5, I was able to make genre distinctions. Mm-hmm. This is the Abbott and Costello slapstick comedy part of the movie. This is the Universal horror film part of the movie. And this exists here, and this exists here, and then they combine them together. So now they're combining my two favorite genres together. And I was even able to make those distinctions. That, this is this type of movie, and this is that type of movie, and this is the best movie ever made, because they put my two favorite types together. I've been mixing and matching my favorite genres ever since I started putting pen to paper. None of my movies are just one thing. They're always like a lot of different genres and subgenres crammed into it. Yeah, well, I obviously do. I mean, but like for instance, again, going back to Abbott and Costello Meet Frankenstein, when he picks up that nurse and lifts her over his head and throws her through that glass window and everything, she's dead.
Hurry up.
Yeah, that's it. It's not hardy har har. All right, like you get the impression that the castle was on a mountain. She just bounced off of every rock on the way to her death. An interesting thing, like the first time I ever saw Dracula in a movie was Bela Lugosi himself playing Dracula in Abbott and Costello Meet Frankenstein. And it's the last time he ever played it, and the only time he ever played it, other than the Todd Browning movie. But it was interesting though because you'd watch a movie on like the 3:30 early movie on Saturday, which is when something like that would have aired. Exactly, and they now we return you to Bud Abbott, Lou Costello, Long J.D. Jr., and the Bela Lugosi in Abbott and Costello Meet Frankenstein. I didn't know Bela Lugosi was the name of a man. I thought all the horror film monsters and all the actors worked as a team, and the name of the team was Bela Lugosi. Yes, exactly. Or to me, it was closer to like the Justice League of America. All right, all those guys together were called the Bela Lugosi, and it was only my stepdad said, "No, that's a guy. That's the guy who plays Dracula." Oh, really? Yes, and not only that, Quentin, when he was buried in his Dracula cape. No kidding. Yes. But similar to what happened with the Universal Frankenstein movies. The first three were special, all right? The first three told an overarching story. But then when it get into be Ghost of Frankenstein and House of Frankenstein and House of Dracula and Frankenstein versus the Wolfman, which I'm a big fan of, then it's like, now they're making them for the kids. By the time they do Abbott and Costello Meet Frankenstein, well, that's already your audience by that point. They could have done Kids in Play, all right, meet Jason.
I said, come back.